Come on, you can't be serious. A month after giving birth, I returned home from my parents' house in Boston. My husband, John, saw me as soon as he got home from work. Dropped his briefcase at the sight of me and blurted out those words. Your body shape has changed a lot. What? My name is Emily, and I'm 31 years old. I'm a housewife who just gave birth last month. Returning home excited for the new life ahead with our family of 3, I was greeted by John's blatantly insensitive remarks. I was at a loss for words, wondering why he would say such things, as I thought he would have been so keen to see our newborn baby for the first time. John and I met at work and tied the knot. After graduating from high school, I worked in the accounting department of a company in downtown New York, where John was my boss. We settled in a home close to our workplace. Due to my family's home being far away, I went back there shortly before my due date. And a month after giving birth to our daughter, Michelle, I returned home. John couldn't find the time to visit me and our baby in Boston due to his busy work schedule, so this was his first time meeting her. And yet. Seriously? I just got back from a long trip and this is what I get? At first, I thought he was joking, so I responded lightly. But it turned out that John was serious. Come on, you've gained what, 20 pounds? Well, yes, but it's normal to gain 20 pounds during pregnancy, which I read in a pregnancy book, I retorted. You need to build strength for childbirth, prepare your body for breastfeeding, and have energy for the sleepless nights. It's perfectly normal. No. Yours is extreme. Instead of the warm welcome I had imagined on the flight back home, John left me with those harsh words, not even sparing a glance at our baby, before retreating to our bedroom in disappointment. What? I was stunned by his tone and attitude, and I accidentally dropped the diaper I was holding in my hand. I figured his mood would improve after a good night's sleep, so Michelle and I slept in a second bedroom that night. But John's behavior that evening was just the beginning. From the next day onwards, he started mocking my weight relentlessly. Seeing me eat sweet potatoes, which I learned in a childbirth and parenting class at the hospital were good for lactation. He would make cruel jokes, a potato eating a potato? That's cannibalism, it's disgusting to see a fat person eat, and pigs eat grains, right? I heard potatoes may soon be reclassified as a grain. Oink, oink. Moreover, he began to make insensitive comments about our intimate life, saying things like, we were abstaining during pregnancy. I thought we could get back to it once you came home, but this is just impossible. It would just feel like a chore to me. And I wouldn't even get paid for it. That would be equivalent of doing unpaid overtime. As expected of someone with the accounting background. He started to talk about our intimate life as if it were business, saying, for any business, time is money. And we'll have to stop wasting time on low-value activities. In our case, that would be our intimate life, since you no longer look like a woman. According to our new household management policy. Every time he opened his mouth, it was to insult me. He no longer said anything nice about me. Naturally, he didn't lift a finger to help with household chores or childcare. But I had Michelle to look after. I tried to ignore John's remarks, thinking of them as no more annoying than a barky dog in the house. But then, something happened that pushed me to my limit. It occurred one night when John came home drunk from the end-of-year party. Sitting in the living room, he slumped over the table, only lifting his face to look at me. I was sitting next to him, breastfeeding. With a burp and the smell of alcohol, John started to mumble something absurd. Babies aren't as cute as people say. They're bald, their skin is red and blotchy, and they only babble out gibberish sounds. What? It's cute. That's just something people say, right? Because I'm honest and look at things realistically, just as I do in business. What? And when I see you breastfeeding that not-so-cute baby, it makes me think. You became fat to give birth to something that's not even cute. And now your breasts are sagging from nursing. That's just terrible. What? Looking at those sagging breasts, your upper and lower abdomen. You look like a pill bug. A pill bug? Yes, you've started to look like a pill bug to me. Seriously, I can't deal with that. If we were to do it, it would be like a wrestling match between different species. With those words, he suddenly grabbed my hand, dragged me and the baby to the rear of our house. "Hey, what are you doing?" I protested, but before I could resist further, he pushed us into the back room, shut the door, and left me with the words, "Just stay in your nest, pill bug." Then, I heard the sound of him opening the bathroom door, singing Roly Poly song. Unforgivable. He not only called me names but also said our baby wasn't cute. Being drunk wouldn't be a valid excuse for making such disrespectful remarks. Filled with a sense of righteous anger, I still nursed and slept with my baby in that dark room. The next morning, when I opened the door, my anger reached its peak. It wasn't just the sight of his clothes left all over the floor on the way to the bathroom or the used cups left out that infuriated me. It was when I saw the cardboard sign taped to the door of the room where I had been locked up and made to sleep. It read "A pill bug's room." Though it looked like it was written while intoxicated, it was unmistakably John's handwriting. I would never forgive him. Then I decided to change my situation. The first step was self-reform. I placed the pill bug's room sign on the door of my new bedroom. It was there for me to see whenever I felt disheartened. And on the wall, I hung a Beyoncé poster. I'd always admired her, and her style and positive energy were just the motivation I needed to aspire to be like her. Thus began my long-term weight loss project in the so-called pill bug's room. There were plenty I could do at home. I started walking on tiptoes. Whenever I felt like sitting down, I would sit on an invisible chair. I would do squats while doing laundry or brushing my teeth. And do crunches after breastfeeding. The postpartum body is more prone to losing weight because the fat is softer, the midwife said, and she was right. The weight started to drop quickly. As the baby got a bit older, she would giggle every time my face came close during abdominal exercises with her on my belly. And she enjoyed it like a seesaw when I placed her on my thighs during leg lifts. I continued to work out and maintain a healthy diet while taking care of my child. Soon enough, I regained my pre-pregnancy body shape. Since I was sweating a lot from the workouts, I kept wearing my post-pregnancy tracksuits, simply replacing the elastic in the waistband. There was no need to dress up in front of John, who called me a pill bug, and of course, I went makeup-free every day. Naturally, John, who had been calling me "Hey, pill bug," failed to notice my transformation since I'd been wearing the same clothes. After all, he hardly ever looked at me. The second phase was improving the situation. If you wanted to improve your own situation, you would have to create a gap between you and your rivals. So I planned to make John fat. Since there were no eateries around where he worked, I would make him lunch daily. Instead of packing balanced lunch, I began packing French fries, burger, burritos, and such. In the evenings, I kept serving John, who would come home around 9 p.m., pizza and fried chicken, saying, "These are your favorites, right?" Of course, I made sure to have my meal with my child by 6 p.m. I was always mindful to make my diet consist of 70% vegetables and 30% protein. Eating in a balanced way, rotating through each type of food, proved to be effective. I switched from white to brown bread, making egg lettuce tomato sandwiches, which was a lot healthier than having white bread with peanut butter. Hunger pangs would go away if I just ignored them for 10 minutes. Whenever I couldn't bear the hunger, I would just look at myself in the mirror and then at the Beyoncé poster, and turn that hunger into motivation, helping me maintain my diet. Of course, I knew I couldn't keep this up without some form of accountability, so I started doing Twitter, which is now called X. All I did was take a photo of my belly every night before taking a shower. I posted those photos daily on Emily at Home Workout, along with the exercises I completed. 4 years passed. My daughter started kindergarten. By then, our daughter had grown and started talking a lot, perhaps becoming cuter in John's eyes, and he began to show her affection. But after all he had put me through, and the things he said to me when our daughter was born, it was too late for me to forgive him. Not to mention, the nickname Pill Bug had stuck, fueling my determination even further. Once my daughter started kindergarten, I took the opportunity to work part-time at a local fitness club during the hours she was in kindergarten. I was just working at reception and doing cleaning. But being around customers who were highly conscious about fitness and beauty helped my own sense of beauty develop even further. And everyone said, "Emily, you look so beautiful, and you have a great figure too." I was convinced that I definitely fell into the beautiful category. Now, the time was right. I was determined to confront John with everything he said to me for the past 4 years. On Tuesday, at 1 p.m., at the cafe run by John's parents in Coney Island. John's parents owned a cafe that served desserts near a famous landmark, a popular tourist spot. Featured in guidebooks, the cafe was bustling. As John's parents had been asking me to bring their granddaughter whenever we had time, I decided to visit their cafe. Tuesday afternoons were relatively quiet, so John's parents left the part-time staff to handle the customers while we had a little time together in the garden at the back. John said he would come to meet us in the afternoon as he had to go to the office in the morning and do the month-end close. After sending John off to work, I carefully applied my base makeup and straightened my hair with the hair iron. Though I usually kept my hair in a bun in front of John, letting it down and ironing it revealed glossy waves. I drew on eyebrows, which I had barely any when I was barefaced, and instead of wearing the tracksuits, I put on a light pink summer dress. Size 4. I wouldn't let John call me a pill bug again. I deliberately arrived 10 minutes late. John had already texted me saying he was at the cafe. "You're late." What, does a pill bug move that slow? I received another message from him just before I entered the cafe. Snap. I did something on my phone to make it sound like that before I put it away in my handbag. I couldn't wait to see what was going to happen. I took a deep breath, puffed out my chest. As I opened the door, it made a tinkling sound. John's mother, hearing the door open, exclaimed in surprise, "Welcome." Oh. Oh my. Emily. I've missed you, and Michelle too. Hi, Jane. I walked up to my mother-in-law and gave her a hug. Come this way. Let's talk in the garden, John's already here. And Michelle, you're just adorable. My mother-in-law, more excited to see her granddaughter than to attend to customers, handed off her tray to a part-timer. As I walked into the garden at the back, I caught sight of John's back. He seemed to notice the sound of my footsteps. Turning around, he said, "You're so late, how long did you expect me to wait, pill?" Until that moment, I never really knew how wide human eyes could open in surprise, how nostrils flared, and how mouths dropped. It was as if every possible facial orifice was wide open in shock. Of course, he was silent after that. "Hello, John," I said, deliberately aloof. "Oh my, Michelle is a very good-looking girl. And she looks just like you, Emily," my mother-in-law said, as she brought 5 servings of their popular dessert to our table and joined us. "You seem at a loss for words, John?" I broke the silence. "Well..." John stumbled over his words, and then his father arrived. "I'm so glad that you're here. I wanted to see Michelle." Surrounding Michelle, the in-laws had crinkled smiles on their faces, cooing over her and saying how adorable she was. In stark contrast, John, with a strained expression on his face, began to say, "Well, of course, she's adorable. We're her biological parents." So? The conversation began. Without missing a beat, I retorted, "Yes, you and a pill bug are her parents if that's what you meant to say." John froze, and his parents stopped engaging with Michelle. "What did you say?" My mother-in-law asked for clarification. "I said a pill bug. John has been calling me that since I gave birth, saying I don't look like a woman anymore. Or worse, I just look like a pill bug. Wait, just wait. If you had lost weight quick enough. You didn't even notice I was losing weight. You said you couldn't see me as a woman anymore and shoved me into that back room, didn't you? And you didn't notice my transformation at all. For the past 4 years, you haven't even looked at me, but just kept calling me a pill bug." I pulled out the cardboard sign labeled "Pill Bug's Room" from my handbag and placed it on the table. My in-laws were stunned. "Look," I continued. "I hope this sign alone shows you the kind of treatment I've been enduring, but this isn't the only proof that I have." I took out my phone. Screenshots of John calling me a pill bug on text messages, including the one sent just before my arrival at the cafe. The sheer volume of evidence left my in-laws speechless. "John, what have you done?" his father said in a strained voice as John shouted angrily, "This is ridiculous, gathering evidence like that." Then, laughter came from behind. "Wow, is that for real?" 2 high school girls at a nearby table were giggling and looking our way. Guys like him always yell at beautiful women. That's just hilarious. He should look at himself in the mirror, a creepy, fat man yelling at others. Their laughter and comments were clearly audible at our table. Speaking of pill bugs, what about you now? You've gained weight and become less presentable. I paused for a moment before retorting sharply. You look more like a stink bug. After saying that, I turned to John's parents and showed them a photo taken right after giving birth at the hospital. Please have a look at it. This is Michelle right after she was born, and me. John's mother, looking at the photo and having tears in her eyes. I remember seeing this photo. Michelle looked so small, so adorable. I was so glad she was born into our family. But after giving birth and coming home, John told me that wasn't right, that he couldn't see me as a woman anymore. And even said that because my body changed from nursing, I looked like a pill bug. The last straw was when he said our newborn Michelle wasn't cute because she was red and blotchy. John's parents were at a loss for words. I've had enough. I pulled out a business card from my handbag. I've just shown you the evidence of the treatment I've been receiving from you, John. I think it's time to end our relationship. Here's my lawyer's business card. You'll hear from him very soon. So be prepared. Wait a minute. You're just a pill bug leeching off me. How do you plan to feed Michelle and yourself? John's predictable retort was something I was already prepared for. I quickly grabbed my phone off the table and switched the display. My ex account. Emily at home workout. My followers had already exceeded 10,000. Michael, the manager at the fitness club, said, after seeing this, he'd hire me as a full-time employee. The screen was filled with comments like, amazing how you lost weight at home. You're an inspiration. Emily, you're so beautiful. I admire you. Enough. Suddenly, my mother-in-law raised her voice. John, you have no idea how hard it is to become a mother. Childbirth is incredibly painful. Gaining weight is about maintaining the strength to endure the labor pain. Mothers can hardly sleep to look after their baby. And you. You didn't know any of this. Continuously calling your wife a pill bug, how can you even apologize to Emily? Shame on you. Then, she turned to me, Emily, I apologize on behalf of my foolish son. Please, let us know if there's anything we can do to help you. And I hope you could still let us see adorable Michelle from time to time? Right. Since we run a busy cafe, we should be able to support you financially. We'd be grateful if you could let us celebrate Michelle's birthdays without our foolish son, my father-in-law added. And soon after that, I started working as a single mother at the fitness club. Mommy, my friends say you're beautiful. Michelle always tells me. To which I always respond. To be beautiful, you have to work hard. It's important to believe in yourself and strive. I hope you grow up to be someone who could show care and put in a big effort. As for the stink bug. I mean John, I heard from his mother that he tried to lose weight in hopes of getting back with me. But apparently, he couldn't even stick to a diet and remains a stink bug to this day. I have started working in earnest at the fitness club, and at the same time, my ex-followers have now surpassed 20,000. Actually, I've even been approached by a publishing company. I'm now writing a book. Titled I Can Do It Too, A Homemaker's Guide to Grabbing Happiness, aiming to empower homemakers around the world to strive for their happiness. I intend to continue my endeavors to support and inspire others.